where Tabletop Master will be calling upon speakers, and they get 1 to 2 minutes to talk. Amrita loves traveling, and her dream vacation would be to take a couple of months off and travel the world, enjoy and appreciate the history, culture, and traditions of each place. She would like to see the place in the same light as the locals do. Please welcome Amrita.
So, as Harshini said, this is an impromptu section of our meeting. And as you all know, I'll be calling one of you from the crowd to speak about one of the topics I've written for 1 to 2 minutes. So today I've just gotten some nice quotes, commands, proverbs, something that I think you guys would love to speak about. And in case if you do not want to speak from that topic, you can speak anything you want. The main motive here is to make you guys speak and nothing else. So I'll call upon the first topic. Okay, nobody uses pens these days. If you were a pen, how would you pitch yourself?
Can be a pencil.
Yeah, sure.
Let me just think about it. All I'm remembering right now is an interview where I went, like, say 3 years back, and they gave me a pen, and I didn't know how to use it. Because I wanted something where I can write code, and when I was using a pen and writing the code, nothing came out. So after that, I started using pen a lot, because before going to the interview, you have to make sure that you know how to use a pen. But right now, I'm a pen. So let me think, how can I sell myself? Okay, if you're going for an interview and you want to be selected there, use me. Otherwise, they are not going to give you a laptop or something which you're comfortable with. So you should know how to do debugging with me. You should know how to read your code with me. You should know how to erase me properly. So you should better get that fancy paper or that fancy, what do you call it, the spray, which can erase me properly. That's it. I would say that please use me if you want to be successful.
Okay. Don't worry if plan A fails. There are 25 more letters in the alphabet. 2.
And if those other 24 don't work, you can use the Japanese alphabet. It's got a lot more letters. I was actually reading about a font designer in India. I didn't know this, but India apparently has a lot of written languages. 6 or 7, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. More than that. I mean, a lot more spoken languages, but written languages. So this font designer has spent 10 years trying to create a single unanimous script that can be used for all the written languages in India and still have a uniform look and feel. It's taken him 10 years, and he's not done yet. He started 2 font design companies. He has 13 people working for him. He sold his fonts to Apple and Microsoft, and he still hasn't finished yet. That's how hard it is. So, if your plan doesn't work at first, just think about that guy. Not only does he have 24 more characters to go, then he's got another 24, and another 24, and another 24.
You can learn many things from children. For instance, how much patience you have. I think everybody else has roles, so I'm going to call somebody who has. Shana?
Something I learned from children, I would relate it to my own son. And the thing that comes to mind right now is when wasn't yet talking because he was hearing Spanish and English every day, and I guess the vocalization of that came later. And he heard me talking to someone, and he came over to me, and what sounded like gibberish, he was saying, and I just looked at him, and I wanted to acknowledge that I understood him, and I said, sweetie, what? And he kept repeating it. And he kept repeating it, and he had all the patience with me as I tried to figure out what he was endearingly trying to say to me. And after scrupulous attention to how he was saying what he was saying, I realized he was trying to participate in a conversation I had earlier about driving to Scotts Valley. And that was the ending of his sentence. And when I found out what he was saying, he was like, yes, so happy. So it made me realize no matter how small or young a child is and whether they can even speak, they really do understand so much more than you realize. And so actions are very important. Thank you.
This is a very common one. Is a glass full or half empty? Explain your choice.
Hello. So is the glass is full or half full or half empty? So usually myself, I think usually when I see half glass full, like I think about it as a full one. But I think it's something that every person do it differently. You know, some people have the talent to run fast. Some people have the talent to be optimistic, or it's kind of the way it is. But I guess any person in some point of his life, when he see half glass, he also think about it as half glass empty. It's when we, even if you are very optimistic in some way, because you are also ambitious, you want it to, you look at what is missing. And the smartest in life is to know, to look when it's missing, when you can actually feel it more, and to look when as it's full, when you cannot feel it in more water. Thank you.
Practice makes perfect, but nobody is perfect. So why practice?
It's going to speak for itself.
That's a good one.
Can you repeat the line I'll be called? Practice makes perfect, but nobody is perfect. So why practice?
Okay, nobody's perfect with that practice. Okay, so when I think of this, I instantly get back to my school days. So you'll be surprised, but I was part of my school basketball team. Being very petite and small, everybody used to say, "Are you sure you can really shoot a basket with that thing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I think so. They selected me for a reason." And initially, I was very bad because it was really hard to get there. But then there was a motivation to really do something and to outshine and be part of the team. We were supposed to go for a state level championship. I think they saw something, so they actually selected me, even though I was not in the top 10 players or whatever. I was in the extras. But I was motivated that if I will be called, I need to really be part of the team and really shoot for that basket. There was a practice session every day in the morning. We were supposed to get there at 5 o'clock and practice for an hour and a half. And I thought, okay, this is my chance to really, try and do something. If not reach the basket, I can be the person who's juggling the ball around. And the practice did pay off. We went for the championship, and one of the players was injured, and I was finally called to play. And I think it was a good experience. I was able to at least juggle the ball around, and I was quick in doing that. So practice helped.
Okay, life isn't measured by the number of breaths you take, but by the number of moments that take your breaths away. Okay, Angela?
I truly buy in that statement. Life is not about how long you live or what you got for yourself, but it's about what you give to the society or what you give for your loved ones. I truly believe that. And I try to do something about it in my small attempts. And few examples. Something that takes your breath away is when you see these small kids playing and you cheer them up, even though they're not doing well, and you encourage them. That gives them so much happiness, and you feel so happy that you're making them proud. That's a very small example. To take it to a bigger level, there was an earthquake very recently in Nepal, and there was so much need for people there, whether it is food, clothing, shelter. So there are many people trying to help. I know a family who live in Texas. They personally flew down, and they're also working full time. The husband of the family, he flew down and he's volunteering to help there. I was very inspired by him, and I thought, even if I cannot do that personally, I wanted to contribute in one way or the other. And when I saw this opportunity in Intel where we could contribute, I was happy about that because Intel is also contributing. And I took up that option and I did a little bit of contribution. And many things like that. In India, when you walk around, you will see these little kids trying to sell something, and you definitely want to help them, but there's also something in your mind saying, are you encouraging them to do this? But sometimes I think there is a reason for why they're doing what they're doing, so you kind of want to help them. So I really go by that saying, life is all about what you give back rather than what you just take it.
Tell us about a nickname you have and how you got it. Ali?
Well, I certainly don't have a nickname. My name personally is short enough. And I cannot really talk for myself because I did not have that nickname. What I can comment on though is I've seen some people that do not choose their own nicknames. You can't impose on them. And they're not really happy about that. I've seen many instances. So people kind of complain, I'm not happy with that. Why would you call me with such a nickname that I don't enjoy? And I understand them. I think this is something that we all should respect. Make sure it's their nickname, not our nickname for them. That's something that I would like to see also others respect when it comes to me. Thank you.
The last one. The life is like an ice cream. Enjoy it before it melts. Tom?
Ice cream. I think what they're trying to say is that life is short and you must enjoy it while you can. When you have opportunities to enjoy something, to do something, and you step out of your comfort zone and do it. There's only so much time that you're allotted, and you never know. You gotta live life to the fullest every day because you don't know what's gonna happen. Today could be your last day. Not to be pessimistic about it, but it's
would like to travel the world and visit beautiful places with her family. Some places on her list are New Zealand, South Africa, and Europe. Please welcome Anjana to share the general evaluation for today.
Moving on to the very interesting portion of our meeting. Our first evaluator is Yarun Shoma. He is evaluating our speaker 1, Keep Pesticides at Bay by Nagesh. Please welcome Yarun.
So it was the second speech for Nagesh, and it's about being organized. So, so first, the value of the speech, I think it's very good. It says it's very relevant for all of us, what we eat and the way agriculture will be in the future and so on. So, so the relevance of the subject is very good. The preparation was good for extremely good if you talk about one day. So you had some anecdotes about U.S. government and agriculture, the way it is done in India before 65 and after, and you have this interesting, amazing fact about the cow that can handle 30 acres, which is amazing. I think more people need to know about it. I think the beginning was not so strong. It was not clear from the beginning where do you really want to take it, because you started, but the conclusion was extremely strong. I think you called for action, called for to do what is good for us, that will make also the agriculture people to do more of the organic thing that will be good for the society in the future. So all in all, I think was great speech value. Transitions were good. The conclusion was very strong. The body was structured, and I think it's extremely good for one day of preparation. So thank you.
Thank you, Yarun. Now let me call our second evaluator. She's evaluating a speech from Tom, a giant of a man from Storytelling Manual. Please welcome Sheila.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters, and especially Tom. Tom is working out of this advanced storytelling manual. So once you finish your competent communicator, you're given a choice of 2 advanced manuals to work out of, and this is what Tom chose. And this is the second project within this book, and it's called Let's Get Personal. So some notes to realize before I go into the evaluation. It's to create a story based on personal experience without using a script or notes, and to provide vivid descriptions and dialogue to bring the story to life. And in fact, in the project itself, it says it would be the type of story where the audience would sit in a semicircle around them and you'd converse in that manner. It's that kind of setting. Tom, I really enjoyed hearing your story and tying it into the title, A Giant of a Man. Thinking, okay, what is this about? I really enjoyed that you developed it by starting out with Paul Bunyan, who's a very well-known character in American folklore, and then relating it to somebody named Dan. Originally I thought you said Dan, so I'm thinking, okay, who is Dan? And then I realized as you spoke more, you meant dad. And so then I was very interested and even more in awe. And I liked how you tied, not only was your father physically imposing like Paul Bunyan, like he may have been, but you described his industrious, sturdy, and intelligent nature. And we got to know him through various stories and experiences. my suggestion would be, don't be afraid to use movement and vocal variety. I know you're using the speech as a way to get back into speaking. So as you go along in Toastmasters, it's easy to fill lots of roles, but not necessarily a speaker role. That's always something we all need to work on. And so I realized you were feeling a little rusty there, and this was a way to get back into it. So don't be afraid, because you're talking about somebody 6 foot, which is huge for a young child. You're looking up at him. Don't hesitate to use some kind of movement where you're looking up at your father, or just me wanting to hear his voice, like his booming voice. And include some dialogue to give him even more life. I really enjoyed the story of him being a military police officer. I wanted to hear more about that. Like, how awesome is that to be able to stop a fight just by stepping between 2 men, and the guy looking the person up and down and thinking, I'm not gonna throw the punch. I mean, that's pretty amazing to me. Your father must have been a hulk of a man to intimidate other men that way. What I really loved about this story is just how you weaved it together in honor of your father. It obviously means so much to you that he is synonymous with an American person from our folklore. And I thought it was very touching and such a wonderful tribute. And I would love to see you to develop this further for your own grandchildren. So well done, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Sheila. The evaluation was also like a story and was carried away. Okay, now I would like to come up with, ask my helpers to give the reports of each of their roles. First, we'll start with the timer. Shankar, could you please give the time for the speakers, evaluators, and label topics?
So, speaker 1, Nagesh, 5 minutes 36 seconds. And speaker 2, Tom, 6 minutes 37 seconds within the range. And coming to table topics, Nita 1 minute 14 seconds, Joe 1 minute 16 seconds, Sheila 1 minute 15 seconds, Yaran 1 minute 3 seconds, Shilpa 1 minute 32 seconds, Anjana 1 minute 56 seconds, Ali 39 seconds, Tom 38 seconds. And coming to evaluator, Yaran 2 minutes 8 seconds, and Sheila exceeded 3 minutes 28 seconds.
Thank you, Shankar. Now, one thing I noticed is we're all getting better at table topics, I guess. We're doing better more than 1 minute. Next, I would like to call our counter. Please give us a report.
So I'll start with the speakers for today. So Nagesh had 1 hour, and so you probably threw a little bit of source. We had 11 source in the speech and 2 long pauses. Tom had 2 long pauses, no other issues otherwise. Nita had 1 so, Anjana had 1 so, 1 hour. Yarin had 1 hour and 3 so's, and Sheila had 1 hour.
Thank you, Sheila. Our grammarian is Ali.
So overall, I think it was a great meeting in terms of proper use of English. I should thank both Sheila and yourself for use of the word of the day. The only comment I have, I guess, minor comments for Nagesh, just make sure you always use the proper verb, I guess, person. For example, you said nature give, you should have said nature gives in one instance. And then also you mentioned to minimize the topic, I would rather to hear something like to summarize my speech. And you said also in my conclusion, I guess in conclusion is probably more appropriate. And that's it. I think everyone else did a good job.
So now comes to my evaluation. Overall, I think the meeting went well. We had lots of table topics today, unlike a few other sessions that we have had. And there was good participation from everyone. You were happy to come and speak up here. And the evaluations were good. We started on time. We are also going to end on time. we always have somebody taking up the roles and we are not stuck with not fulfilling a role. So I think we do very well. And I like the topic as well. So I think overall a great meeting. I would like to call our Toastmaster back up.
Thank you, Anjana and team. Now I'd like to call Amrita for the table topic winner.
Okay, so the winner is Neeta.
Right there.
Thank you. It's been a great meeting. Thanks to each one of you for taking the time to participate in the meeting today. And thanks to all those who stepped up in the last minute to fulfill the roles. Thank you. Now over to Madam President.
Thank you, everybody. So I just wanted to share a couple items. I wanted to share this certificate I received from Toastmasters International, just congratulating us on our first year anniversary that is upcoming in June. And I just want to recap, and I'll continue to do this, just how much we've accomplished as a club in under a year. Everybody who's a part of this club should be very proud of what has been achieved. And I do send out emails to VPs and Shayla just to let them know. For example, we're a distinguished club, which means we've completed 5 out of 10 goals that Toastmasters International lays out for any club. And for any club to achieve that, it's about half. The fact that we're a new club and we've achieved that is pretty amazing, and we're not even a year old. I also want to say that as we finish our work towards our competent communicator and our competent leader, we get closer to getting points towards that goal. So there is a deadline of June 30th, and we're pushing to get 7 out of the 10 points. And Anjana is working hard to work some of her manuals to get us there. But I also want to say, don't stop there at that deadline. Each of you should be trying to make notable progress in those manuals, because come the new year, it starts all over again, and we really need everybody to just pay attention and participate, because you guys are all going to bring us back to that distinguished level again. I have no doubt of it. So keep working. Also, Anjana mentioned, and you might have mentioned in a previous meeting, I'm sorry if I'm reiterating myself, that at the district competition, our club was recognized as having had the most members join since its inception. And we're at the top of some trending charts on the website for District 4. And District 4 encompasses Sausalito to Monterey. I mean, that's huge, guys.
Yeah, some
So-
250 and odd clubs, I guess. 240 clubs.
250?
200 clubs or so is this
Yeah.
district.
I laid it out in an email, and I can share it again. But it's a really great achievement, and so don't knock it if we only have 12 people here today. It's pretty significant. It tells me you're wanting to grow. And as you noted, do you realize you're getting better at being an extemporaneous speaker when you do table topics week after week and you get all this practice? It really will overflow into other parts of your life and work life. I've noticed that, and I'm sure you will. And the same with evaluating or just being an odd counter, a timer. You start to pay attention to these things, and you really start incorporating it into other parts of your life. So I'm just excited that you all are here and participating and bringing all these skills to the table, and then also being able to take them away with you. So congratulations. I would love to see this frame, but I'd probably keep it with the rest of the paraphernalia for the club, just as a reminder of where we've come. Secondly, next week there is no Toastmaster meeting, and I send out a communication and put this on your calendars. There's a WISE event at the same hour downstairs with lunch, and it's being sponsored by the WISE Club, and we'll have some leadership from within Intel Security talking about work-life balance. Please feel free to join us. I am the one setting up the speaker panel, so I would love to see you there if you can make it. And lastly, are there any other updates?
You wanted to talk about elections.
Oh, yes, thank you. So as we're coming to the close of this 6 months, you need to start again thinking about officer elections at the end of June. So if you are interested in any of these officer roles you've seen us fulfill, please talk to any one of the officers you're interested in taking the role up of, and we can give you more information. Please do consider it. It's a huge growth opportunity for yourself, great way to get experience, learn new skills, put on your resume, and get to know more people within the club. So thank you very much. Is there anything else? Okay, if not, the meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.